Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are the scouting staff for the Hula Bowl. Today I have with me one of the participants in this year's event. His name is Jeffery Johnson. He's a defensive lineman out of Oklahoma, formerly of Tulane. So nice to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sure. And again, just to kind of recap there, again, you started your time in college at Tulane, finished out there at Oklahoma, and then, of course, after everything was all said and done, we gave you the invite to come down to the Hula Bowl. So that was certainly fun to have you down there. But before we get rolling with anything else, man, I want you to set the stage. Tell me where you're from and kind of walk me through a bit of that journey.
So originally I'm from Brookhaven, Mississippi, small town in Mississippi. I tell everybody I'm from the sticks. But yeah, I'm a graduate of Brookhaven High School. I played football ever since sixth grade, but in high school, things have started to look bright for me. In high school, I started to get offers from like Florida State, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, a bunch of Power 5 schools. But coming out of high school, man, it was a kind of crazy story. A lot of people don't know about this story, but I was kind of held back for 2 months in the summer by this doctor for he tested me for, I forgot the name of this thing, but it was a false positive. So it kind of made a lot of schools back out. But, Tulane continued to recruit me. D-line coach from there, Kevin Peoples, I think he's down at Missouri now. But, I got built a relationship with him, and that's how I ended up at Tulane.
Nice. So again, the sticks from the sticks of Mississippi, and then of course found your way there to Tulane. Had yourself a pretty solid career there, and then ended up transferring to Oklahoma. How did all that go about?
Well, I did my 4 years. I actually got my bachelor's at Tulane. So, man, I kind of saw it as an opportunity, man, to just kind of elevate myself and kind of take a risk and a chance on myself and my career, to go play somewhere else and get another experience.
So, you said you got your bachelor's at Tulane, right? So, what can you say that you have a bachelor's in? Can you share with me what you've been able to obtain as a student?
So I got my bachelor's in health and wellness at Tulane.
Gotcha. And what'd you take at Oklahoma? Just a few classes just so you could be a student? Is that kind of how that worked
Sort of,
out?
kind of. So my first semester at Oklahoma, I started out in the master's program. I was doing human relations. I didn't like it as much, and everybody was talking about, oh, master's gonna be easy. I didn't think it was easy one bit, but I eventually, my second semester, I took up psychology, and so I got an associate's in psychology at University of Oklahoma.
Well, psychology can certainly be fun. Just if you don't mind sharing, since you spent most of your time there at Tulane, what do you feel is like maybe the most difficult class that you ever had to take there?
It's definitely 100% stats, man. I could not get stats. I kind of don't want to say it, but I ended up failing stats like twice. I was taking them my third time, and it was kind of crazy because I actually needed the class to graduate. And so I was taking it my third time, and he was like, if you pass the final, I'll give you a D. And so I ended up passing the final, and he gave me a D. And luckily, everything worked out, and I was able to graduate.
Wow, so statistics.
Yeah.
Wow.
30
So
years.
that's the one class that was holding you back. Coincidentally, I can kind of somewhat relate to that. I mean, although I didn't fail stats, I ended up that was one of my night classes that I remember taking, and I used to just fall asleep. So that was the main reason why it was just kind of hard for me to stick with that class. But
I never really got the concept as words as numbers. It's a lot going on with all that.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. But hey, man, I mean, you could say you got your degree. Everything is taken care of there in college as a student. And you put forth a pretty solid career as defensive lineman at both institutions. And so talk to me a little bit about, I don't know, your role that you've been able to kind of hold down there on the defensive line, really for both institutions, if you don't mind just kind of talking to me about your overall experience.
So, it was pretty big for me coming out of high school early. So I finished early in December and I ended up enrolling in the spring at Tulane. And so, that was an opportunity for me, just to come in the spring at an early time and, learn the defense. And so I actually, surprised myself because I ended up being a 4-year starter. So, it was all through the guidance of, my coaches and especially Coach Kevin Peoples and just my teammates, man. We've coming to Tulane, everybody kind of looked down on the program, which because it was kind of like in a rebuilding phase. But we all came together. The culture there is really big. I think culture really determines how far you'll go. And so, man, it was just a great experience just coming into Tulane and being able to make a immediate impact.
Yeah, dude, definitely. Tulane is no joke, man. I mean, they are definitely a team to be reckoned with. Certainly, I mean, obviously, you didn't play for them this past season, but before them, man, like you guys were rolling, having some great seasons, and then of course found your way there to Oklahoma. When we're talking about you there on the defensive line, uh, tell me a little bit about the fronts that you've been in, and maybe if I don't know, where do you feel is like what you're best suited to do, perhaps as you translate to the pros? I mean, do you consider yourself a nose tackle? Do you find yourself maybe moving around a little bit on that defensive line?
So I played in predominantly 3-man, 4-man fronts, but my well, really 3-year career at Tulane, I was a straight nose guard. I never really played tackle, but going into my senior year at Tulane, that's when I kind of did kind of both roles, nose and defensive tackle. But as far as just like experience and all, I've played for the 5 technique, 3 technique, 2 eye and shade, zero. I mean, I played all those techniques. And I think, that's kind of gives me the upper hand just as far as like experience and seeing what the offense is coming out in and just in different formations to understand the type of block rush that I'm getting.
Gotcha. And so, obviously, as a pretty experienced guy on the defensive line, what do you feel is perhaps your best attribute as a prospect? Is it truly that experience, or is there maybe something else about you that you feel separates you from the pack?
I feel, like you said, I got a lot of playing time, and I'm very very grateful for that. But also, man, I think it's just great coaching, also as well being able to be coachable and being able to be versatile. But also, man, I think the biggest thing for me, just being able to play the run because I mean, I feel like you have to stop the run in order to play the pass and have some fun. And so, man, it's kind of been my thing, since I've been playing college ball, and I've been able to dominate the run game.
Yeah, man. Definitely when we scouted you, we saw this guy who is pretty solid run defender, very strong, who could play that nose if we asked him to. So and certainly buddy, we obviously gave you that call. So let's kind of talk about the Hula Bowl if you don't mind. I mean, somebody ended up giving you a call, told you to come down to Orlando for a week. Talk to me about that week of activities, and anything about that event that you want to share.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I was just, grateful and blessed to have a invite to play in the Senior Bowl. But man, like it was an awesome week, man. Just being around a bunch of guys from other schools and being able to get close with them and create a relationship with them. And also, man, just get the experience, man. Just get on the ground, get my feet running. Now, talking to the scouts and so see who I am and I get to know who they are. So, it was a great opportunity. And I feel also just the level of competition, how practice went throughout the week. I obviously excelled throughout the week, and it was just a great opportunity overall.
So, a lot of things happen when you come to all-star events like the Hula Bowl. I mean, and most of which is building relationships, whether that be with the coaches that coached you, the teammates that were around you, and then of course sitting down in all these interviews. So talk about some of those things that you were able to do. Are there any guys still from our game that you still I don't know, keep in touch with, or how did you gel with everybody else? Is essentially what I'm getting at.
Yeah, man. I feel like, just as a football player, no matter where we are, just like part of any locker room, guys are gonna come close together, and kind of hang out and stuff like that, and kind of get to know each other throughout the week. But man, that's one thing, that was big for me, just being able to get close to a bunch of guys, but also, not just getting close to them, just the coaches as well. Man, we had a good time while I was down there. And it wasn't really just about football the whole time, because the scouts, seeing what we can do, the coaches done seeing what we can do. We were all there for a reason. But I think the biggest thing, we were all there, we all got to create a relationship, and we had fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, so dude, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then of course it is a business trip. There's a lot that's going on on that front. Sitting down with a lot of NFL teams that are interested, man. Give me like a ballpark of the interviews that you had. I mean, how many teams did you actually sit down with?
I spoke to about 7 or 8 teams while we're there, which is pretty cool. Like you said, it's a business trip, a business opportunity for me. So it was just a great opportunity for me, just to express myself and be myself, so they can get a little bit of understanding about who I am.
Nice. So you showed out at the Hula Bowl, did a fantastic job, and then following week the NFLPA calls you up, man. They're like, "Hey, why don't you come over out west and continue to showcase your abilities?" So how did that work out for you?
Man, it was a great opportunity, and I think it kind of stemmed from, we had 4 defensive tackles at the Hula Bowl, and I think one guy ended up getting injured throughout the week at practice, and then one guy ended up not playing. So I basically played the whole game. So, which I think, is kind of how I got the NFLPA invite. It was kind of a surprise to me, because I didn't think I was going to play any more Senior Bowls, but it was a great week. I got the invite, and they flew me out to LA. And it's pretty much the same thing, man. Just getting close with a bunch of other guys, and getting to know the coaches and stuff like that. But it was a pretty interesting week, man. I definitely enjoyed it.
So, dude, you had a lot of exposure in the All-Star circuit, man. You're at this position where you've been in front of all the teams, every single scout has looked at you. And dude, you are a legitimate prospect who may actually hear his name called come draft day. Um, I want to kind of get your feeling on that, front. When we talk about like the NFL and maybe like you getting drafted and all that stuff, where's your head at, man? Like, what are you thinking about? Because I mean, this is a for real thing that could happen here soon.
Yeah, I know. I talked to a lot of guys, or a lot of former NFL players, who's just experienced that process already. And I think the biggest thing, that I took away from that is, they say how fast it come, and then how fast it becomes your reality. So I think the biggest thing for me, these past couple of weeks, just being finished with school, just creating a new schedule for myself, and sticking to like my daily habits and my daily routine. So when that time does come, I'll be prepared. But man, it's definitely being also real. It's kind of been almost an accomplished moment, even though I haven't reached my dreams yet. But I think the biggest thing is knowing what it takes, and not being complacent in what you have to do to be able to reach those dreams and those goals.
So, what you been up to lately? I mean, obviously you're preparing for your pro day. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on with all that, like where you're training and everything else.
So I'm actually back here in Norman, Oklahoma, training with our strength coach, Coach Smitty. But yeah, man, since I've been out of school, like I said, I kind of work out every day, and I come home and it's like a what now moment. I pretty much don't have anything to do. So I think that comes with just kind of create like little daily habits for yourself, or even find a new hobby, man. I'm kind of old head, man. I kind of sit around sometimes all day. I may do crossword puzzles, play a couple video games, and that's about it. And I wake up the next day, and I go to work, go to workouts, and it's kind of repeat. But I think the biggest thing is which is not really hard for me, is kind of keeping a clear head and keeping a good mindset and not not letting the doubt creep in, because it's a lot of time from now until combine, pro day, and the drive. So man, you just got to be consistent in everything you do.
Right. So you were just talking about you being an old head and doing crossword puzzles, man. Dude, I know that there's more to you than some crossword puzzles, man. Talk to me a little bit more about you, maybe something that not everybody knows. I mean, give me something fun, man. No one wants to hear that you do crossword puzzles,
I
man.
mean, other than that, I kind of, since I've been in college, I've kind of been a little tied up, with just football and school. But outside of that, man, I love being outdoors, man. I love fishing. So stuff like fishing, hunting, even maybe like going to the river or riding four wheelers, man. That's me, that's something, I kind of did every day outside of school and football, when I wasn't so busy with my buddies to go try to find a fishing hole somewhere. So I'm definitely, vested and intrigued in being outside, and I guess you could say doing country boy stuff.
Well, hey, it's all right. So obviously being from the sticks, you want to stay in the sticks and go outside, go fishing. Completely understand that. Um, you a movie guy at all? I mean, you have any sort of favorites that you tend to go to like regularly?
I mean, I like scary movies, but I'm down for any movie. I really love. I enjoy watching Marvel movies. Um, but yeah, man, I may go to the movies every now and then by myself, or I may invite a friend to go with me, just have a little downtime. But yeah, man, I definitely enjoy watching movies.
So you said you're into scary movies. So give me maybe like, I don't know, what's that one scary movie that's like one of your favorites?
I kind of like you ever watch Insidious?
Insidious. Okay. I haven't personally. My wife doesn't really watch any of those things. Neither do I. But if that's your vibe, man,
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, for me, like I'm kind of like a uh straightforward guy. I mean, a lot of people be like, I don't watch scary movies because I have nightmares or I can't go to sleep. I'm like, it's a movie, like relax. But man, I definitely enjoy watching scary movies. Other than scary movies, I love watching action movies.
all right, I hear you. Not a not any problem with that. At least to me, like I love the action movies. I love all the Marvel movies. So those are great.
Be
So
having nightmares.
say what now?
I said you be having nightmares.
I have problems sleeping in general, but let's not even get to that. But Jeff, let's go ahead and I don't know, talk to me about some of these. I mean, you've had a great career. Give me a couple highlights of your career, if you don't mind. I mean, when you look back at your time at Tulane, Oklahoma, Hula Bowl, NFLPA Bowl, there's a lot really to take in from all that experience. Um, what's something that's gonna stick with you for years to come?
I mean, obviously, just playing football at two great universities, but I think the biggest thing for me is the people, man. They say, the people you meet in college gonna be in your life for the rest of your life. So, man, I definitely value the relationships, that I've made throughout my college career, because I feel like, the friends that I did meet in college, are like my best friends. So, I mean, I think those relationships go a long way, especially like times like now, just being out of college and realizing, I have so much more ahead of me, man. And it's just being able to reach out to those people and connect, man. Just know we have those relationships.
Yeah, well, again, you've built a whole lot of relationships. It really impressed a lot of people. I know at our event we were very fortunate to have you at the Hula Bowl this season, and sky's the limit for you moving forward, man. I mean, we'll see what happens. I do feel that you will get an opportunity with a team somewhere. It's really just a matter of who. So we'll see what happens here, maybe in a couple months. So. Jeff, why don't you go ahead, man? Let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Why don't you talk to the rest of those scouts out there, if you haven't talked to them already, and go ahead and give everybody your pitch and tell them why you need to be drafted and be a part of their franchise. So go ahead and close us with that.
Yeah, man. Obviously, it's been everybody's dream. So, playing NFL. But for me, man, the biggest thing for me is just, being able to take care of my family. My mom raised us on her own, me and my three sisters, and one of my older sisters actually in a wheelchair. So, my mom has struggled trying to take care of her and keep up her health and her diabetes. So, man, like it's kind of been it's kind of been hard for me, just kind of managing college. I still got to take care of them back at home. And, they still reach out for me for things and stuff like that. So, man, I think that's one biggest thing for me is just giving back to my family and giving back to the people, and just help those with the things that I struggle with in life and just college and just growing up, man. And I kind of want to be a resource and a helping hand to those who may have experienced the similar things that I've experienced growing up and things I've had to endure during my childhood and just coming through my college career, man. And also, man, I think I'll be a great fit for a locker room. Also, just the value I'll bring to the locker room and being able to create relationships that'll go way beyond the locker room and also carry over to the field.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a guy who I feel really does a solid job on the defensive line. I mean, holds his ground, very versatile enough to move around a little bit. Four-man front, three-man front, whether you're in the nose or maybe a three-tech or something in certain schemes. But it's certainly a guy who can really contribute really day one for any NFL team. So really looking forward to what the future has in store with you. All right, Jeff?
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Once again, we got Jeffery Johnson. He's defensive lineman at Oklahoma. Definitely check him out.